All right. Let's go into key of C. Let's go ahead and pull up that first page. Hi, Christine. Hi, Deborah. What we want to do when we're looking at the key of C major is let's go through and double check you've got your chords in good shape. So at this level, after spending the last week and a half with me or so, you probably are like, we're never going to play a chord ever again. And that's not really true. What we're really going to be working on here is taking those chords that we would normally just play as a strumming type thing and then turning our right hand into something wise. And yeah, thanks, Linda. Let's go with your C chord. Just make sure every time in the beginning when you grab your C chord, you're going to grab it right here, ring finger, first fret, first string, third fret. Okay. This next chord in this song is a G chord. Again, chase your index finger out. Index finger, third string, second fret, middle finger, first string, second fret, ring finger reaches out, third fret of the second string. Okay, always hard to talk about. Okay, that's the G chord. From there, after you do that G chord on this song, you're going to chase your index finger right there to the first fret of the second string, and then your middle finger is going to jump up there so that you have a nice F chord. There's two other chords in this song. Go down to measure 11, you've got a G7. G7, your index finger stays there where the F was, and then your middle finger goes up there, and your ring finger goes right down there. That's G7. What you will notice the difference between a G and a G7, if you play them, play your G real quick. G major, it's called a G major, that's its full name. All the major chords are really easy to get along with. They sound beautiful, it's fun and beautiful. You go out on a date with a G7, right? Or a G major. It's just got a really pretty way about it. Really just very pleasant. When you switch to a G7, you're going to get a lot more tension, a lot more drama in it. And in isolation, they almost sound wrong. I mean, they sound like, what the heck is that? G7s, any type of seventh chord is going to create a bunch of tension, and the purpose of that is to then resolve into the main key or the main chord. And so when you see a seventh chord, just know there's going to be this kind of tension and this weird sound that's going to go into that, and then it's going to resolve into whatever the next chord is, or sometimes two chords down the line, but it will resolve. It's used for just creating some drama in the music and then moving on to the next idea. The other chord in this song is at measure 14. That's your A minor. Okay, that's your middle finger on that top string, second fret. A minor, it can be minor chords sound sad or important or deep or complex, right? They have a much more convoluted way about them than major chords. Major chords are meant to be happy and easy to get along with. Minor chords, a little bit of a different feeling to them. Earlier this week, or maybe it was last week now, we talked about A major, which is this finger on index finger, third string, first fret, and middle finger where we have it right now. That's A major. Nice and happy, easy to get along with. But today we're going to be using A minor. We're going to lose that finger. Very sad and dismal and scary a little bit. So that's the difference between major and minor. Okay, so those are our chords. That's all the chords in the song. Now, when we normally are learning ukulele, we're just desperate to get these chords on in time. That's sort of our main goal when we first start. But eventually you're going to get where these chords are sort of who you are and what you do. And that's when we want to get this hand going and get this hand much smarter. Susan, great to see you. So delighted you logged in. All right. Next issue in this song, we are looking at the standard notation, which is the melody line on your music. And there's all those dots. And what all those dots are, they're called eighth notes. And generally speaking, when you're playing eighth notes, you play those faster. Okay. And then you'll see starting at measure 9, those notes turn into quarter notes. Notice they don't have the bar on top of them. And those are going to be played at half of the speed, quite a bit slower than we play the eighth notes. Okay. So when we first start this, the other nice thing about music is it's all relative. And so what we are finding is that we can work at whatever speed you want to work at. And as a new player, the correct speed is slow. Okay, just play as slow as you are is necessary to be smooth and continuous. One of the things that we all have a tendency to do is play too fast, and then when we get to a complicated chord change, we blow it, right? And so you want to play slow, let this stuff sort of work itself out. That way, when you get to the more complicated chords, you're ready. Um, Next thing to notice on this, go to the ukulele line and notice we're not going to play the first, the that fourth string. We're not going to play this string at all, ever even one time on this entire page of music. So what I want you to do is I want you to take your thumb and where we might tend to put it on that top string, I want you to put it on the C string, okay? And then your index finger is going to be underneath the E string, okay? And then your middle finger is going to be underneath the A string. So you've got thumb, index, and middle on those three strings. I'm trying to get this where you can see it. And then what we really want is to have a bit of an angle of these. So if your thumb comes down, index finger up, and middle finger up, they're not going to run into each other. If you stack them up like this, I don't know how to show you that. When we stack them up this way, they don't really have anywhere to go. They keep running into each other. But if we get them at an angle, which is more like this, thumb, index, middle, then they're going to have a little bit of room to operate. Also notice that where we normally play up here, where the neck and the body come together at fret 12, when we are doing picking, arpeggio picking in this case, we're going to come down over the hole because we're going to need the room to work and the fretboard gets in the way. So we're going to just come down here over the hole and then we'll have room to get the job done that we need to do. Okay, so let's practice. Go ahead and grab just the C chord and let's just practice doing the arpeggio pattern we're going to need. So the first thing we're going to do, and please don't hold your ukulele like this. I'm just trying to show it to you, okay? So we're going to do thumb, index, middle, index. Thumb, index, middle, index. Thumb, index, middle, index. Thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index. So that's the pattern we're going to use for the first 8 measures of this song. Okay, remember when you're in playing position, your thumb is hidden from me and it's perpendicular to the back of the neck. The body is up against here. Don't try to play this way. It's not going to work for you long term, right? So get this up against your bod. Chord on. We're going to do the first measure. We're going to do it real slow and then we're going to stop. Okay, so from the very top of the song, measure 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index. That's all we're going to do. On that C chord there, you're holding the C chord, and normally when we're first starting in ukulele, that's how we play C chords. Now we're going to get it fancy and just do thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index. The reason you know that you're going to play an arpeggio on this particular song is if you look at that ukulele line, you can see a very clear pattern, 0030, 0030, and they're in little round humps like this. First, third string, second string, first string, back to the second string. That is screaming arpeggio, right? If you look at the sheet music, the standard notation up above, it could go either way, right? You probably are going to play an arpeggio, but not necessarily for sure. And it gets real messy down below when you start adding in, on page 2, when you start adding in some of these, sometimes you're going to use this top string, then ukulele doesn't look real pretty in standard notation, but it stays real pretty on the tablature. So that's what we're looking at, is that very consistent way that the numbers are moving on your tablature. It visually tells you, hey, you're going to play an arpeggio pattern here, not any kind of strumming or any kind of thumb picking. Okay, a lot of people who will, they'll download my book and then they'll come see me and they're playing this with their thumb. It's all right, right? It's not against the law, but it is definitely far less efficient than arpeggio, than grabbing all 3 of these. Okay, the other nice thing about arpeggios is that it really puts you into that group of people who has control over their right hand, and it's going to make you sound and play so much better. Hey bud, how are you? All right, so now we're going to have this challenge where we're going to play that first measure, but then in exact perfect timing, you've got to get your G chord on to to get to the next measure. So what I want to do, just take a moment to talk about it. If I'm playing a C chord and I need to get to G chord, I'm going to chase my index finger. I'm going to go here, here, here. Okay, so I'm trying to have the least amount of motion. I'm on C, index, index, ring, index, middle, ring, index, middle, ring. Now I'm on G chord. Okay, after that I got to chase the F chord, and I'm going to go down, up. Okay, and then to get home or get back to the G chord, index, middle, ring. Okay, I think if the one thing that you take away from these lessons over the next few weeks is how to move your chords more efficiently, that would be the one thing, that would be my dream that you guys would work on that, right? When you first start, we have this tendency to C chord, all right, now I got to do a G chord, you pull everybody off, rethink, throw it on. By the time you get it on, we're already moving on to the next chord, right? And so that's not really the very efficient. What we want to do is get from C chord to G chord to F chord, back to G chord, back to, what do I go? Back to C chord. We want that to be efficient. We want there to be the least amount of motion possible. When we go watch some of these more advanced players, it seems like they're hardly moving anything over here, and yet all of this sound is erupting from their instrument. And that's one of our goals, is get this where it's so efficient it barely looks like you're doing anything. All right, let's play the first two measures. I'm going to try to do it in time. So try to play with me and get that G chord on in plenty of time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index. Okay. Hopefully that went well. If it didn't, go back and try it at a slower pace. Try it at this pace. Ready, play. And even if that's too fast, slow it down even more. If you're all that and this is like, oh yeah, heck yeah, I got this, speed it up, right? But don't play faster than your hands can get in proper G chord position. Otherwise, you're just fooling yourself, right? We want to be that nice, steady, even, long sound, just getting the most out of our ukulele. And we don't want to do that faster than our chord fingering will allow. Okay? We're going to play the first 4 measures now. We're going to go from C chord to G chord. Look at all that motion. F chord, and then back to G chord. Okay, then we will have the first 4 measures done. 1. Let me just count you in a little bit faster. Well, let's not do that. Let's just say ready, play, and then we'll go. Ready, play. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, 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 3. Oh, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Oh, 1, oh, 1, oh, 1, oh, 1. 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3. Sorry, messed it up. I'm busy reading Linda's note. I can see your thumb. Can or can't? And then hopefully, I'm trying to, let me see if I can get this where we're at a little bit better angle. So maybe you can see what's actually going on with my right hand today. All right. One thing I will mention, measure 3, you don't technically have to put on your whole F chord. 0, 1, zeros are all you're going to play. So you wouldn't have to put your F chord on. But I always tell people, put your full F chord on. There's 2 real reasons. One reason is you're just going to get comfortable with getting your F chord on. You see an F chord, your fingers are there, you don't even think about it. I would bet if you talk to most advanced players, they just put an F chord on, whether they need to or not, in order, because it's just, you're just doing it all the time. You see an F chord, your fingers are there, you don't think about it. The other reason, which is a bit more musical, is when you pluck your strings, they vibrate musically they'll vibrate the other strings you're not holding down. And so what we want to do when we're playing an F chord, if we're not going to play the whole thing, This string here is still vibrating, and if we're not holding it down correctly, it's going to vibrate with the wrong note. So it will, no, Linda can see my thumb. Good. Oh, this thumb. Sorry. Linda, don't pick on me. When you're holding that F chord, now this string will vibrate with an A, and that's in the chord of F, and it'll make your ukulele sound better. If you're not holding that down, this is going to vibrate as a G, and it's going to reduce the quality of sound that you're making. So when you are playing and you see a chord coming up, but you realize, because you're a smart person, hey, I don't really have to do that, go ahead and put the whole card on anyway. It will make you sound better. It's just that next level of precision and really working through things properly so that your ukulele and will sound the best that it can, and you'll receive wild accolades as the greatest ukulele player of all time. All right, we're going to play measures 1 through 8. Okay, so basically measures 1 through 4 are identical to measures 5 through 8. At measure 8, notice your last note is a quarter note, and we're going to play 2, 3, 2, and we're going to stop just for a second, take a breath, and we're going to move on to measure 9. Let's not go on to measure 9, but just pay attention that you don't get into this pattern and then all of a sudden you are playing notes that aren't on the page. Okay? From the top, 1, 2, ready, play. Oh, oh, 3, oh, oh, oh. Change to G chord. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. Change to F. Oh, 1, oh, 1, oh, 1. Change to G. Back to C. Back to G. To F. To G. Pay attention. And then you would start on to your next measure. Okay? That's the pattern through those first 8 measures. We're learning to get these fingers to operate independently, and it will make you a much finer and fancier ukulele player to do that. Let's move on to measure 9. Notice you got 0, 0, 3 stacked up. What we would typically do is thumb down ukulele players is play, right? But that's not what I want here. In this etude, it's all plucking. And so at 0, 0, 3, we're going to take just those same 3 strings we've been holding, and instead of strumming them, we're going to pluck all of them at once. The pattern then changes. After that, you're going to be hitting your thumb, index, middle, then measure 10, switch to your full F chord, and do that same pattern again. Plunk, thumb, index, middle, measure 11, you're going to grab that G7 chord, you're going to grab all 3 of your strings and do the plunk again. Plunk, thumb, index, middle, repeat that whole idea. Plunk, thumb, index, middle, measure 13, I switch the pattern. Same chords, just switch the pattern. Plunk, middle, index, thumb, A minor. Go ahead and grab the A minor, even though you don't really have to grab the 2. I still think you should. It'll make you sound better. Plunk, middle, index, thumb. Go to measure 16. Plunk, middle, index, thumb. Measure 17. Did I skip a measure? Hopefully not. Measure 17. We're going to do C chord twice. Plunk, plunk, thumb, index, A minor, plunk, plunk, thumb, index, measure 19, F chord, plunk, plunk, thumb, index, measure 20, G7 again, plunk, plunk, thumb, index. That's what we're going to do. We're going to play measures 9 through 20. Let's do that right now. Get your C chord on. Start at measure 9, please. 1, 2, ready, play. Plunk, thumb, index, middle, F chord, plunk, thumb, index, middle, G7, plunk, thumb, index, middle, again, plunk, thumb, index, middle, plunk, middle, index, thumb, A minor, plunk, middle, index, thumb, F, middle, index, thumb, G7, plunk, middle, index, thumb, plunk, plunk, thumb, index, plunk, plunk, thumb, index, plunk, plunk, thumb, index, G7, plunk, plunk, thumb, index. Beautiful. There's page one. Now we're going to play this. We're going to play this together. We're going to play it at quite a bit higher speed for those of you who are feeling saucy. If you're still struggling with this, you're going to work on it at home on your own. Whatever speed that you need to work at it is fine. There's no rule about how fast you have to play this. I always recommend playing slower rather than faster. I think you'll learn a lot more from slow play than fast play. We're going to play this twice. Why are we going to play it twice? Notice at the end of measure 20, there's a heavy double bar there with two dots, and that says go back to somewhere. And in this case, since there is no front facing repeat, we're going to go all the way back to the beginning. Okay, we're going to play this page twice. When you're at home, you should play your repeats so that you get good at reading repeats. When you're in lesson, we usually don't do repeats, but today, because we only have one other song to cover today, let's play that repeat. Okay, so we're going to play this page twice. Play along with me. Do it the best you can. If you get lost, grab a C chord and wait for us. You're going to be fine. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and O. Measure 2. Measure 3. Measure 4. Back to C. To G. To F. To G. To C. Measure 11. Measure 13. Measure 16, the G7. 17. A minor. F. G. Back to the top. The whole rest of the song is pretty straightforward after that. Let me tell you about a few things that happen on page 2. Page 2, you only play it through one time. Notice measure 21, you have a little wiggly sign, and you've already seen that in my spaghetti monster from last week or earlier this week, whenever we did that. And that's what that means. That wiggly means play that slow and beautiful. Right above that, it says rhythm, which means slow down, slow it down, make it sound beautiful. Okay. Next thing, after that, you're going to hit the 3 again, hit the 5, measure 22, nice G chord, strum straight down, and let that ride for 2 beats, and then hit the 3. Go to your F chord. You're going to have to make a minor modification coming up here. F chord, rest stroke with your thumb on the first string, hit the 1 already, hold it held down. Going to have to modify that with a ring finger on 3, and then hit the open note. Measure 24, beautiful G7. 2, 3, 4. Make sure you hold that for 4 solid beats. Measure 25, it says a C chord. I just play melody here. O, 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 1. Grab your G chord, rest stroke on 1, and then open it up and get the 0. Got 2 F chords here. It's 27. Modify it with your ring, open, and then a nice G7. 2, 3, 4. Back to plucking at measure 29. Let's go, and we're going to go back to a little bit faster speed. Grab your C chord and go. Plunk, middle, index, thumb, plunk, middle, index, thumb, plunk, middle, index, thumb, G7, plunk, middle, index, thumb, plunk, plunk, thumb, index, plunk, plunk, thumb, index, F, F, plunk, index, G7, plunk, thumb, index, and a beautiful C chord at the end. Okay, let's just play page 2 together, and then you'll have something you can hopefully work on at home. This is a really pretty tune, I think, and I might be biased because I wrote it, but I do think that if you're working on this, you'll end up with just a nice little etude to warm up with or to end your study session with. Let's play page 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 'Very nice, right? Nice little tune. Linda asks, do you change position of your hand, of your right hand on page 2? I do, and I think you have to because you're busy plucking all the way through on that first page. This position does not really change. When you go to the second page, you're mostly doing thumb, right? So yeah, I'm going to take my hand from here and go up here and start playing that with my thumb through that section. You could theoretically it would be a fun activity to work on doing it with the same hand position on page 2. I switched to thumb there because when I wrote it, that's what I was thinking. I didn't specifically require that as a technique in the song, but try it both ways. See if you can do it. It would sound interesting to do it both ways. And then I do definitely go back to the claw position at measure 29 there to write that out to the end. All right. as you guys know, I'm super proud of the book that you can download for free, that Jumping Flea Arpeggios or Arpeggiator, I think I called it. It is 30 of these, right? And this is what will take you from being run of the mill ukulele player, awesome dude, very kindest human being in the whole world, into mad musician skills, all over just getting your right hand put together, really going through and studying each of these chords and each of these keys. And that's what we really, really want you to be able to do is we want you to be um, the super awesome person you are with mad skills. And that is the Jumping Flea Arpeggios. They'll teach you all of the chords, all of the keys, all of the positions. Everything you need to know in ukulele is in that book, and frankly, most of my advanced students, this is really what they like working on. John, hey Pele, good to see you. Delighted you've logged in to join us. Where do we find the book? Go to Jolly Roger Ukulele and click on, I think, the teacher one. Let me I'll just double check real quick. Ukulele, click on the teacher line. Let's see if the internet cooperates. And yeah, it's on the teacher tab. About halfway down it says Jumping Flea Arpeggios. And yeah, so just go, it's on the teacher tab. And you can download the entire book. It has all 30 of them in there, along with all of the sound files for them. And again, it's free, and every single ukulele player ought to be able to ought to be working on them. I mean, I just think that they're hard. They're definitely a challenge. They're the next level. They're the top level in my mind in terms of making you think about your chord shapes properly, in terms of thinking about what you can do with your right hand, and then also getting those musical skills of getting your timing and understanding what the every possible thing I could possibly think of. I just tried to throw the whole garbage can at it and see what stuck. And the other thing I really tried to do in that book was make the melodies fun and nice to play. I wanted them to be songs, and so you get all the skills, and they're pretty decent songs. I know when we play them in the orchestra, we always play the first 10 in the orchestra. When you get a bunch of people playing them, they sound pretty nice. I actually think they're really lovely. I have a baritone. Can I use the book since I know chord shapes? If you use a baritone, just play the tablature and the chord shapes. Ignore the names. So for you, that's a C, or for us on ukulele, that's a C chord, and the skill set is da 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 da. For you, you're playing in G, play the exact same skill set. Da 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 da. It's just going to sound out as a G chord rather than a C chord. So yes, you can absolutely do it. Um, all right, Paley, I'll see you at 5:30. All right, so there's that. Key of C major, my sales pitch for it. Oh, I'm supposed to give you a sales pitch. Down there it says subscribe. I'm supposed to tell you to subscribe so that I get famous. All right, let's move on to Home on the Range. We got about 10 minutes to run through it. We're going to run through it super fast. This is a really nice arrangement. It was my favorite arrangement in the introductory book. Not my favorite song necessarily, but it's really, really, I don't know, I just think it sounds nice. Um, okay, me too, me too, me too. Yeah. All right, let's run through the chords real quick. Okay. I did get a question from Dan. Hey, there's sometimes the D7 is this way, and sometimes the D7 is this way. Sometimes it's this way, sometimes it's this way. This way sounds awesome. This way sounds kind of wonky. Why are they both D7s? Um, in ukulele, when you're new to the instrument, we would love for there just to be one chord position, and that's it. In piano, this, and this, that makes a C chord, and we would love for that to be all that there ever is. Unfortunately, in piano, sometimes it's this, and sometimes it is. I forget this one. These two, I don't remember. Anyway, even on piano, there's different C chords. Just hang around, just in one single octave, you'll end up having to do different fingerings. Same thing's true on ukulele. This is, in fact, a D7, and this is a D7. One of them's way better. One of them's a little harder. One of them's a little easier. I think just get used to the fact that there's different chord shapes. The one that's sort of a bummer, you learn to play C, and really you would love it if that was the only C chord you ever needed to know. But it turns out you got C chords all over this thing. That's a C chord. We can use both of these. That's a C chord. We could take and put up here on this one. Now I got a different C chord. Okay. Here's a C. Some of you next couple of days we're going to cover B flat, but there's a C chord right here. There's also a C chord up here. Where is it on? It's on 7. F shape on bar on 7. That's a C chord. So there's C chords all over the place. This one and this one. I like this one. I think that's a really nice C chord. So don't get in there. Don't overthink the fact that some chords have the same name, even though they're completely fingered differently. The other thing to get over is that sometimes the exact same fingering has multiple names. So that's a C6 as well as an A minor 7th, and so it's one of the fun things about ukulele. It's kind of angering when you first run into it, but after that you'll get let it just be one more thing you get to learn and one more thing you get to have an adventure over. All right, let's run through the chords. G chord, remember, index fingers up above. And Linda, here's my thumb for you. All right, G chord. Next chord's a D7. Just take and move those 2 fingers up. Go back to your G chord. Got a C chord after that. Just roll down. It goes for a little while. Then you go back to your G chord. A7. Just chase your index finger back. And that sound like Home on the Range. That's so cool. And then chase your index finger up and get to D7. Go back to your G chord. Just drop those 2 down. Add your ring. Back to the D7 and G. C. G chord. D7 and G chord for a while. Then we go to D7. Back to G chord. Here's the tough one. E minor, index, middle, ring. Okay. On some of your chord charts, it shows it with 2 fingers up here, which is fine. Let's see if I can do it better, a little cleaner. Okay, and that's when you get these 2 up there. You don't have to do that. You can just do that. It's fine. And that sounds pretty. All right. Next is Dan. I wasn't sure if that was a smiley face or a frowny face. E minor at major 21. Measure 22. We're going to chase our index finger over to that A7. Okay. And then measure 23, D7. Okay. And then we repeat the same exact chords toward the end of the song. Okay. I'm about to sing. I apologize. 1, 2. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam and the deer and the antelope play. 2, 3, 1, 2. Where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Home, 2, 3. Home on the range. 2, 3, 1, 2. Where the deer and the antelope play. 3, 1, 2. Where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. 2, 3, 1. Oh, give me a... I blew it. I was going to be all fancy and give you an arpeggio pattern. All right, so I designed this where you're supposed to sing through it twice. If you decide just to play through it once, don't play 31 and 32 and skip on to 33 and 34 to finish up. But you get the basic cadence of that. I missed a chord somewhere up here. Oh, measure 25, getting from that G to the D7 back to the G. One of the things I think when you are first learning, just getting your chords in, get that first beat of every measure. That's the important one. So if you have to go, oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam and the deer and the antelope play, that is perfectly legitimate, right? Just get that first beat of every measure. That gives you more time to get your next chord on. It actually will make you feel a lot happier about working through your chord progressions. If you're more advanced, obviously we'd like to see you do more than just simply what I was doing with this simple down strum. Oh, give me a home. Let's see, I need to do it in a 3 pattern. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle. Oh, give me a. Oh, give me a. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam and the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Home on the range. 2, 3, 1, 2. Where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. Okay, so that gives you a chance to work on that arpeggio pattern. It's just a 3 pattern: thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle. I keep blowing that D7 at measure 25, and so guess what? Gary now knows exactly the thing that he needs to work on. And when you are playing through a song and you're consistently blowing one spot or another, that's the area you want to be working on. You don't need to play the whole song if you can play it. Just go fix your problem areas. All right, those are your chords. Let's play through the melody from the top. What time is it? 5:21. We're in good shape. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, oh, 2, 3, 2, oh, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 5, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 0, 2, 3, 1, 2. 2, 2, 3, oh, 2, 3, 2, oh, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, oh, 3, 2, 3, oh, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 3, 2, oh, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, oh, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, oh, 2, 3, 2, oh, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, oh, 3, 2, 3, oh, 3. And then you're supposed to repeat it a second time or not. It is so pretty, don't you think? Play tough uke, and I love it. Yay, Corda! Yay, Pele! Nice job. All right, let's play the tough uke together now. Okay, and again, not for everybody. Those of you guys that it's making sense for and it's a fun thing to work on. We typically don't play tough uke as a community. We usually play it as a soloist, and so this is what you want to work on at home on your own. It's a beautiful song. I think the chords really, really are very lovely the way they put them together. So we're going to grab that tough uke. We're going to pull up right there from the top. Start with your G chord held on, and then you'll be fine. Okay, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. Oh, G chord. 3, 2, oh, 3. Those are nice C chords, right? 2, 3, D, G chord with your pinky. 3, 3. Slide your index finger. 2, 3, D7. Strum. For some decorative notes here. 2, 2, 3. Oh, G chord. 3, 2, oh, strum, strum, strum. 3, 3, G chord, strum. Oh, 3, 2, 3, oh, G chord. 2, 3, 2, 3. Two-edge your pinky, strum. 2, 3, D7, strum. 2, oh, G chord. 2, 3, 2, E minor, E minor, E minor, weird chord, 2, 3, D7, 2, G chord, 3, oh, G chord, 3, 2, strum, 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 3, 3, G chord, oh, 3, D7, 3, oh, G chord, 2, 3, 2, one last time through, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, second ending. Nice little tune. Hopefully you guys are going to have a chance to work on that tonight. Yeah, should keep you out of trouble. Guys, we're going to shut it down. Any last comments? Toss them over there into that. I'll see you again tomorrow. We're going to be doing more. I'm going to see about getting a couple classical pieces up for you. I'm going to do some cowboy music. We're going to just keep diving into those basic skill sets. And again, just play your darn ukulele. We got excellent opportunity here to stay at home and really dig into that sort of stuff. Remember, thumb down is just one option for playing this. If you're a more advanced player, be thinking about using that claw shape. For the book mentioned in the first section, I get a page not found error. It's there. We're probably just having a lot of the GoDaddy's probably just not keeping up. Vicky, just come back to Jolly Roger Ukulele to the teacher tab a little bit later, and you should find it. Thanks, Joyce. Thanks, Glenda. Vicky, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Deborah. Elizabeth. You bet. All right, guys, I'm going to shut it down. We're going to move on to guitar. If you want to come learn how to play guitar, DenverGuitarOrchestra.com. And I will see all of you guys hopefully tomorrow. Stay home, stay safe. Ending the stream. Trying to end the stream. Don't know how to use this new computer. There it goes.